It's
Co
something the election integrity to me is the most important thing because anybody who's cheating in an election, and wins, you have criminals as your leaders.
Another big issue that I have kind of been hearing, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it, but that there's 100,000 people on the voter rolls that don't belong there, right? That they've either moved out of the county, they've passed away, but they're still on the voter roll. So when this upcoming election and the midterms comes up, that could potentially open itself to fraud. Have you heard anything about that, or if there's going to be any movement on those? What I'm saying, 100,000 is a round number, but are you aware
Yeah.
of that? Have you heard that?
I'm not sure the latest numbers. I know there were some issues that happened a couple months ago with the supervisor of elections, put some numbers on the website, and there was a big reaction. DeSantis did some good things where he passed some rules where the voter rolls would be reset every 2 years to deal with some of those issues. So if somebody had passed or moved, that they would catch that at least every 2 years during the reset. So we have that at least as some protections. But of course, we know that voter frauds existed to some massive levels, and we need to keep places like this in place. The mail-in voting was another place of fraud. So Trump was talking about doing an executive order on that. There's going to be fights back and forth, and there's going to be lawsuits to see who wins. But it's something. The election integrity to me is the most important thing because anybody who's cheating in an election, and wins, you have criminals as your leaders. So I mean, what do you expect to happen when you have criminal activity at your leadership level? It's not good for anyone.
Yeah, and Governor DeSantis, what's interesting, and I'm glad he's leading on this too, but the whole idea of property tax, when you think about the founder's original vision, wasn't that you could buy a property, build a property, own a property, and then this happens a lot sometimes to elderly people where, their house has been paid off for years
Mhm.
and they miss a tax bill. And then the next thing you know, they lose it through foreclosure, right? Or somebody buys the tax lien. And this whole idea of Governor DeSantis saying, hey, let's put up to the voters and let the voters vote whether they want property taxes. This is for people, owner occupants, right? So I mean, businesses would still pay. But how do you think if something like first of all, do you think something like that will pass? And if it does, what kind of boon do you think that will be to Broward County and your district?
It needs to pass with a 60% voter approval. I can't imagine anybody not voting to have no homestead taxes. I mean, this makes no sense. So I cannot see it not passing. But of course, I don't know the whole plan. Where are they going to make up for the difference if there's any tax revenue that they need to keep different services going?